How are you doing today? Thank you for joining. I thought I'll start a bit early. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for joining. How are you doing? I hope you're well. I hope you've had a good day today. Hello, Anna. Thank you for joining. I'll give you a few minutes and let more people join. Just checking how we're doing today. In the meantime, I hope you've had a good day. Is it nice and warm where you are? Where you're joining us from today? Gonna let more people join. Welcome. Today we're talking about welcome. Good evening, everyone who's joined. I hope we're good, and I hope we've had a good day today. And there's some sunshine where you are joining us from today. Today we are talking about fibroids. We're sharing fibroid stories. Some awesome ladies in our community. By the way, this is the Feminine Health and Fibroid Support Network. We have a community of women, and our goal is just to help each other share our story. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Well, quickly, as I see 7 o'clock, I'm just going to shoot right into it. Today I wanted to share, first of all, thank you everyone who's joined so far. I wanted to share a scripture with us today. You know, that is, for me, is the bottom line of what this charitable organization does. You know, so the first scripture I'm going to bring to us today is in Proverbs 31, verse 8, from the Passion Translation. It says, "But you're a king who speaks on behalf of the disfranchised and pleads for the legal rights of the defenseless and those who are dying." You know, and this is what this charitable organization is founded on, you know, being the voice for the voiceless, you know, speaking of on behalf of those who cannot speak for themselves or who haven't got the courage to speak yet. They'll get there, but helping them to come to that place where everyone's lending their voice, because honestly, this is a worthy cause, you know, because fibroids is a serious thing and it's a big thing. We need to make it known, you know, so that the right things can be done. The other scripture I wanted to share today is also Matthew 5:41-16. I like this Message translation. It says, "Here's another way to put it. You're a light. You're here to be a light, bringing out the God colors in the world. God is not a secret to be kept. We're going public with this, as public as a city on a hill. If I make you light bearers, you don't think I'm going to hide you under a bucket, do you? I'm putting you on a light stand. Now that I put you on there, on a hilltop, on a light stand, shine. Keep open house. Be generous with your lives." I like this part of the script verse particularly. It says, "By opening up to others, you prompt people to open up with God and this generous Father in heaven." And for me, this is the bottom line why we do what we do in the Feminine Health and Fibroid Support Network. Honestly, the goal today we're talking about fibroids, and some women from our community are going to be sharing their story and their journey. And every woman is peculiar in their own experience, you know. So I'm going to be bringing these wonderful ladies on, but I wanted to share a few things with us, you know, before I bring in my guest today. I'm sure the ladies are in there waiting. But today's goal is for us to share our stories. I've got 4 ladies. I've got Bukola, Bisoye, Mary, and myself. I'm going to be sharing my story as well. You know, well, part of it, as much as we can take today, we'll share as much as we can. But at another time, I'm going to bring these women back just to give us their story from end to end. But today the goal is to bring hope to women, honestly, and encourage women to speak up so that we can get the help that we need, you know, in dealing with this feminine health issue called fibroid. July is Fibroid Awareness Month, so it's still ongoing. Let's make it known, let's make it heard, let's lend our voices, you know. And also for me today, it's about leveraging on the experience of the women who who are warriors and have survived this and are thriving, that others too can leverage and thrive. So basically today we're letting our light shine, bringing illumination so that we can be light for other women. I'm going to try and bring in my amazing ladies today who are joining me. I've got Bukola. Ladies, please request to join. Bukola so far, waiting on the other ladies. Bukola, please request to join so we can get started. Amazing. Hi.
Blessings, my sister.
How are you doing?
I'm very blessed by the grace of God.
Awesome. I'm just trying to find the other women
Okay.
and bring them in today. We're going to be sharing our fibro story. I've got Stories joined. Okay, I think she's requested. Yeah. We have one more person. I can't seem to find out yet. Mary. Gonna bring Mary on. Hey, hi, Bisoe.
Hi, good evening, everybody.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
How are you
I'm
doing?
good, I'm
I
good.
hope
Thank you.
you've had a good day. One more person. I'm trying to find the other lady. Trying to find Mary. It's 5 past. Just let's get started. But and hopefully she'll join us. Well, thank you, ladies. Thank you for being bold to come in here today to share your fabulous stories. I know a bit, but today we're gonna the goal of today is honestly sharing so that we can bring hope to women and encourage other people to talk about this thing and let people know that it's okay actually, to talk about this and so that other women can leverage, because every woman is different in their experiences, and so other people can leverage on what we've had to go through, what we've survived, and they can, also thrive and choose what options or which particular ways, is best for their own peculiar combination of situation. So I wanted to bring share some statistics first, just to kind of home in on why this is actually important. Creating awareness for feminine health, fibroid and feminine health issues. So according to the US National Institute of Health, it says that 20 to 25 women of reproductive age have fibroid. And that by the age of 50, up to 80 Black women and up to 70 of white women will have fibroids. I think is this is a pandemic, if we'll agree. And today we're just about bringing hope, because there's hope. I've gone through it. You've gone through it, and our experiences, our outcomes are all different, And I was hoping that Mary too can join us. I'm still trying to find her because she also has an outcome that's different from the three of us here, and I wanted her to also bring her story so that women can leverage on it, because honestly we don't want to be thrown anything and someone says, oh, just have hysterectomy or just have this or just have that. We must be in a place where we are educated enough, informed enough to make the right choices concerning our situation and what we want from life, and so it's around creating awareness and removing also the stigma, because sometimes why people don't speak up is because of the stigma, and someone is going to look at them funny or say something funny about them, or not give them particular opportunities in life, or not give them the chance to be able to do the things or be who they want to become, so sometimes that's the reasons why women don't want to talk about these things, or they don't want to speak about this situation. And for me, more importantly, is also helping another woman honestly on this journey, holding someone else's hand, supporting someone else, because we all know, I know a bit of each, both of your stories, and we all know that this thing is we need each other. We need a support system. We need a support network to be able. This can really, get to you. My name is Toyin Tawo. I'm a fibroid awareness advocate. I'm passionate about educating and supporting women, living with different fibroids. And I am a fibroid warrior myself, and I've had a different outcome, honestly, that looking back, if I was adequately educated, informed, and supported on my journey, I would have had a different outcome than the one I chose or than the one I had to have, But so now, in these days, my mantra is my health, my and my wellness is my responsibility. Honestly, the medical practitioners can guide me, but I need to have done enough of my homework, enough of my fact findings, and know the options that are available to me. And so when I'm having conversation with health professionals, where kind of, I'm not saying bantering, but where I'm coming from a place of knowledge and giving the options that I know that there are, so they know that I can't be a pushover, or any woman who's done her due diligence can't be a pushover, that she's come with her facts, Anyway, before I carry on, we all know how I can get with this issue of feminine health. Please, ladies, introduce yourself, and to get us started, while you tell us your name, where you're based, and also what age you were when you first found out that you had fibroids. Did you want to go first, Bisoy?
Yeah, I'm happy to go first. My name is Bisoye Wambosa. I'm based in Essex here, Billericay in Essex. And what age did I find out that I had fibroid? I think it started, I would say, when I got pregnant with my first child. So that must have been about 13 years ago. It was the first time I found out that I had fibroid. So I think the pregnancy for me was what triggered all the different adverse effects that I then started having when I started giving birth.
So,
As a
okay.
child, um, um, obviously, I was always having severe bleeding, severe pain, but I probably at that age would have just thought, yes, just normal menstrual pain. I didn't even think anything could be wrong, because I was just thinking, okay, I just have severe pains, or I'm always bleeding regularly, but I never had the urge to say, let me go to the hospital, like maybe there was something wrong.
So what age was that? Do you remember what age?
When did I have Mich 13 years ago? That's muscle.
Seriously. Okay, think about that. I'm going to go to you, Bukola. Please tell us. Well, introduce yourself and tell us what age you were when you first found out that you had fibroids.
Good evening, ladies. Good evening, Sister Toyin. Thank you for having me here. My name is Bukola Aino. I found that I had fibroid when I was 22, pregnant, my first pregnancy. And my body was literally fighting the baby. And it got to a state that they said I had fibroids, and for 3 big giant fibroids, that they said it was suffocating the child.
Wow.
However, when I think back on it, I used to have migraine when I was a teenager. When I started my period was really, really, really heavy. And I've been doing some findings that I can see a trait in having migraine and heavy bleeding, which then, of course, in Nigeria, you don't have this facility. So, let's check what he's doing. Just go on with life. That's what it is. So, but it was at the age of 22 when I was first pregnancy ever in my life, that I got to know that I had fibroids.
Okay. Oh, wow. All right. Amazing. Thank you, ladies. Whilst we always thinking about how old she was when she found out,
I think I was 30. I think I was 30. I was
Okay.
30 by then, yes.
I was asking about that so that I wanted to highlight, the different ages where I mean, you're not too young, you're not too old. So there's this thing about, oh, you have to be in your 30s or something. It's not true. We can tell that from Bukola's situation, that she was 22 when she found out, and only because also she was pregnant and the fibroid was clashing with the baby. That's what I call it. It's usually war, isn't it? Clashing with the baby. I myself, I was about 24 actually when I found out that I had fibroids. And honestly, they made it look like it was no big deal. So I used to have severe tummy, menstrual pain. It was bad. So one of those ones actually landed in the hospital. I was so, and then the bleeding has always, for me, it's always been heavy. So I thought it was normal, And so one of those ones landed me in the hospital. I'm like, this can't be normal. Like, I'm about to die from this premenstrual, whatever this is, And then they did a lot of checks and all of that, and that's fibroids. But they made it look like, yeah, not big deal. And thank you, ladies. So I just wanted to highlight, the different ages that you can have it early. You can be anytime, really. So it's not that 30s or whenever it is that people think that, oh, I can't have fibro until I'm much older. So it's not true. So how we're going to do this today is just to help us, because we're not going to be able to tell the whole of our story, but I'm going to help us highlight. So I'm going to be asking us questions, just to help bring out the juicy bit, the meat, and the information of our journey, just to help women, and it's part of what we're trying to do today, share our story and encourage women that it's all right to talk about these things, and so that someone who's hearing, who's listening, who's going to watch this later can learn. And also the importance of having a community, because we are part of a group, a community where we're helping each other. There's information, we're sharing, and another thing we're doing today is we're bringing our story out here so women also can leverage on it from our journey and our experiences, and they can have better outcomes. So I'm going to ask the first question also that I'm going to ask us as we try to flesh out the stories is so your initial reaction, Kola, if you want to go now, and what was your initial reaction when you learned that you had fibroids?
Myself?
Yes.
I think it was a full package for me anyway, because like I said, the first pregnancy was like my body thought it was an enemy within me. So I had pregnancy-induced blood pressure. I got to know that there was fibroids there. So it was just full on for me. I don't even know what my emotions were. I think it was more of my mom really, really, really taking on the emotions and the pain. I was just going with the flow because it was too much for me as a young lady to kind of, where do we go from here? So, but the response of the doctors, because I was able to carry the baby till 8 months. But when I was 7 months pregnant, I had to be admitted in the hospital to try to give me glucose to help the baby grow because she wasn't growing then. So it was such a big mix emotions. It was just big. So I wouldn't say, pregnant. How did I take it? It was so overwhelming at my young age, and it was really, really overwhelming for myself and my husband then. And so it was just to my account. So I can't pinpoint, this was how it was to me. It was a big blow for me, to me, my family, and my husband then.
All right. All right. Good evening. Thank you for joining us, Mary. Thank you. Did you want to quickly introduce yourself? We started already, but if you wanted to tell us your name, and also tell us what age you were when you first discovered that you had fibroids.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mary Samuel. I was 27 when I discovered I had fibroids.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mary. So the other person that I was going to go to Victoria now, what was your reaction and feeling upon learning that you had fibroids?
Without honesty, I didn't react in any way because obviously with my first pregnancy, I found out that I had fibroids, but the fibroids was not upsetting or having any adverse effects with the pregnancy. Okay. So it was just the or they were regularly checking me, still yet nothing,
So you knew with
And I
the
think,
first pregnancy, but you
yes,
started,
I
but
knew with the first
you didn't have
pregnancy that I
less
had fibroid.
symptoms.
Yeah. So, but it wasn't like, it was like, because I said that, the fibroid was affecting the baby. For me, it wasn't. So I could, it was just normal pregnancy for me, during that period. I think it was after I gave birth, then that was it for me. It was after I had my first child, and then I also found out that I had endometriosis,
Wow.
and that was more of a
Go,
pain
go
for
check
me than the
Sergeant.
fibroid
So
for
Bring
me.
them,
you
come on.
both
Yeah,
fibroids and endometriosis.
yeah.
Amazing.
So that was
Interesting.
the major one for me because that was causing excessive.
Oh,
It was just like the pregnancy triggered something, and then once I gave birth, like the blood was being held by the baby because immediately I gave birth, it was just like a tap just opened and it just wouldn't close. So that was it for me.
that's very interesting. I just wanted to highlight on that bit of initial reactions and feelings. Also for me, I didn't think anything of it because I was made to. It was made to me to look like it was not a big deal. So no one said, "Oh, be careful about what you eat" or anything. I was just so, "Oh, I have these things called fibroid." I'm like, "Okay, so what?" And so nothing. So no one told me to do anything. So I went about living my life. Like I didn't think it was any issue because no one said so. I didn't have any reaction. I thought, okay, it was okay. Looks like everyone have this thing called fibroid. So for me, it was really nothing. But until I started experiencing much later, my 20s, early 30s, when I got married and I started having miscarriages. I like, what's going on here? Why can't I pick the pregnancy? And then some consultant sat me down and said, "Oh, my fibroids have gone." And so remember when I was first told, but probably I can't remember, but there couldn't be more than like 5 centimeters. Actually, I do remember. There was one that was 3, one was 5 and 6 around those. So, but no one told me to do anything, so I didn't do anything. So I just was going about my life as normal. So by the time I relocated here and in my 30s, when I was ready to have children, I was having miscarriages. And then someone sat me down and said, actually, your fibers have grown. Now they've grown, I think, to about 8 centimeters. And the reason why you can't, the reason why you're having miscarriages is because your fibroid and your baby are at war for survival. So it's whoever survives that wins. I'm like, so you mean that the fibroid's been winning over my child, Anyway, that's another thing I don't want to get into right now. I started to pray a particular kind of prayer. But seriously, for me, because I wasn't told how to, it was made to look like it was not a big deal, it wasn't a serious thing, nothing needs to be done. So I didn't do anything. So I didn't know how to feel. So I just thought, okay, it's fine. Thank you, ladies. For you, Mary, what was your reaction when you found out that you had fibroids?
I found out I had fibroid when I went for an abdominal scan. Initially, I wasn't expecting that. I only complained, and the doctor said I should go and do that abdominal scan because my period got prolonged from 7 to 14 days, and I was bleeding out clotted blood. So I almost ran into depression because I'm young. I'm not yet married. I was scared. It was like it was like a death sentence, but the doctor encouraged me and asked me to change my diet since it was just 2.8 centimeters. I should not worry.
Okay.
If I could change my diet, that everything I would even forget about it. And I changed my diet. But the one that was giving me problem was the police because it was at the mouth of my uterus.
Wow. Wow, interesting. So I'm going to get to your own outcome because for honestly, here we're here today to bring hope to women, and you've shared your story with me. And your outcome is actually very encouraging. I mean, everyone's got different reasons why they've chosen the outcome that they have, and is the what's best for everyone, but every woman situation is different.
Mm.
So thank you for sharing that. You know, um, so I wanted to go to symptoms first before I jump into how we decided which treatment we wanted. So, if you wanted to go first, Bisoy, what were your symptoms? What was the severe symptoms that you had?
Severe bleeding and severe pain. So I was always bleeding, and it wasn't, it was clot. You know, when you have clots just coming out of you,
Mm-hmm.
and then obviously because of the endometriosis, it came with severe stomach, abdominal pain as well. And then after a while, the bleeding, it was getting to the stage where I was getting pale because I was losing a lot of blood because it was coming out in chunks, and it got so bad that most times I can't even lie down on the bed. I
Mm-hmm.
just had to sit on the toilet because it was just coming out.
Was
So there's no point in wearing pad or anything because it couldn't hold it. So most of the time at night, I'm just in the toilet. My husband will give me pillow in the toilet and all that because it would get that bad when it's just like that. So for me, that was when I was like, no, I can't deal with this anymore. So I had to look for something
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to do.
How long did that go on for before you decided? We're going to get to the treatment that you chose, but how long did that go on for before you decided? And why did you decide at that point? Well,
I
you just said that you had enough, but how long did it go on
I
for?
It probably went on for about 3, 4 years because I had my second son. And then after my second child, and that it went on, I was like, it was just too much for me. And because now that I then had kids, even doing school runs became very difficult for me because I can't literally go anywhere before I'm back. I'm already drenched in blood. And, so it started affecting my day-to-day life. I had children and blood everywhere. It wasn't, and they were little kids, so it's not as if they would even understand what's going on. So it just got to that stage. I was like, no, I can't deal with this anymore. It was just getting on and on. And when I'm in pain, my husband usually had the ambulance number on speed dial because I literally had to take morphine to calm the pain
Wow.
down because it's like that kind of pain that even Panadol, those painkillers, they didn't work for me.
I
So we had to call the ambulance. So they gave me morphine. I usually go in to take morphine to help with the
wow.
pain. So that was why I just said I can't continue doing this on a long period,
Mm-hmm.
and that was it for me.
Okay. Amazing. Thank you for sharing. Bukola, how was your one? What was your best
Because
symptom?
I did like
Actually, like I shared, my first pregnancy, I eventually lost the child after 8 months, and
Months.
I still birth after 8 months.
Wow.
They managed anyway. Second pregnancy, I had miscarriage after 3 months. Then my son came. I think I shared with Sister Toyi. He fought with the fibroid. Literally, I'll see three big, like bigger than golf balls in my tummy. This boy really fought this fibroid. Then I had him. Then I think in the process of all that, the fibroid shrunk. I had my second child. I had my third child. I had my fourth child. There was no issue.
Very different.
But the,
What?
but the issue was I had an implant, and that was what brought this fibroid back. And it was like, for 8 months, 6 months, I would not see my period. When it comes, it will be like I'm having a miscarriage. I don't know because of this. It will be chunk of the clot of
My
blood.
language
If I will even
is
say chunk, it will. I will sometimes I'll think, is it my flesh falling out, or is it part of me falling out? Not just blood. The way it was bad, and me, I know how to deal with pain. I don't know, maybe because I've been a smuggler in Nigeria. So we know how to deal with pain, we know how to deal with risk. So kind of take that on board, kind of wear that as a coat. But I was suffering and there was no one, like Sister Tony said, there was no one to share with. So I just like, I just spend it, I go with the flow. But it became that once when I have my period for 5 days, it's like I'm in pain. Sometimes I'm not able to work. I'm not able to walk. I'm not able to do anything. I see, like what my sisters just said, Bisola, that she will be in the bathroom. I go into the bath, just sit down there, water running, blood flowing. When it stop, I pack myself and go. But after the period I've gone, when I'm ovulating, that one
Mary,
is the
hold on.
worst.
Mary,
yes.
you're busy. I know you're out and about. Can you mute while you're not talking so that we can hear?
Okay.
Thank you, darling.
So when I'm ovulating on my right side between my thigh and pelvic, and it's like somebody's just stabbing me. That's how we feel. That's how I can describe it. It's like I'm being stabbed there over 3 days. So I work in London. I think the stress was adding to it as well. For children, it's just so much. And that was when I like, what, I need to start going to the hospital to report this. So that was when I started. It was a slow process. However, I got to, in fact, when I was coming back from work one day, that I felt like taking off all my clothes. I couldn't sit down, neither could I stand up. So I just told my husband. Then thankfully my husband was there. He was always waiting for me at the station. We went to A&E, and oh my God, the doctor I saw just like, oh yeah, my mother used to have it too. I mean, it was horrible. And I had to just go back home and say, is this what it's like? Firm the pain again. But when I couldn't, I just like, thankfully, when I called my GP, after I got to this peak that I can't keep, this pain, I got to speak with a lady who understood. In fact, she's an European doctor who understood what I was trying to say.
Okay.
So she was the one that escalated this, then that began the process of what do we do, how do we get this done. So yeah, it was just a horrible thing, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for sharing. So you had severe pain, and was also anemic. Bisoy also had pain and was anemic. Mary, did you want to speak now? What was your symptoms?
The symptoms I noticed was initially my period that used to be 5 days extended to 7, from 7, 14 days. Literally, I was unable to do things on my own because of, if I want to go out, I had to use adult pampers because the bleeding was massive. And booking a section with a gynecologist here in Nigeria is something else. And getting a specialist, what made me suffer for that 3 years was that I was looking for a specialist that would be able to attend to me. I was spending money seeing a gynecologist. Some were telling me I should go for myomectomy. I told them no. Let's first, I'm not yet married. I've not given birth. Let's first look for the most important one that is causing this bleeding. And
well done.
arrest it.
That's how it should be done. You don't let people throw myomectomy at you, because you should have the right to explore your options. There are other options. Honestly, if I knew some things that I know now, honestly, I would have done things differently. But kudos to you that you decided no, you weren't going to have myomectomy, and you were going to explore other things. I'm going to come to what you explored and how you done well with that as well. But for me, honestly, my symptom, as I mentioned earlier, was severe pain, and also at some point, actually, so I've always had heavy bleeding, and for me, I thought it was the norm. So tenor night pads, 2 of them. So I was sharing with someone. I think it was with you, Buki, the other day. I was sharing.
Yeah.
I used to work in the city, so in my my office, we are in the middle of the city. There are some cleaners in that building know that you cannot. There are places that you cannot touch because I have, hideouts, treasure places where I have put sanitary towels because sometimes every 2 hours I need to go and change. I am already panicking. I'm in meeting. If I'm in meeting too long, because I wouldn't have time to go to my desk to go because I always carry around a sanitary bag, extra bag, just for sanitary pads, so I would not have time to dash to my desk. I will quickly go to the nearest bathroom that I have treasure hidden somewhere. The pad is the treasure hidden somewhere. I'm just going to run into there and quickly change so I don't. And there are days, honestly, I hear what Mr. was saying earlier on about, not having good quality of life, because there are days where right in the middle of open plan office, I am staying. I'm like, what is
French.
I then get my jacket, if it's the winter, thank God my jacket probably hanging on a coat rack. So I just get my jacket with style and wear it and shut my laptop and everything. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do the rest of the day from home. See you guys later. So you're always anxious because you don't know if you're going to stand up in the middle of the office and everyone's looking at like, who is woman with, and so those were some of the things. And for me also, severe bleeding. So 7 days bleeding, menstrual days was my norm, so it was okay. But at some point I thought, you know what, plus the stress in the city, plus all of the other things, not eating the right kind of food, I thought, you know what, I wanted to lose weight, so I was going to start to try different things for lifestyle change. But also that's big where it's important that you are informed about the right food. We're going to talk about food later on, about the right kind of food to eat when you are living with fibroids. So I thought, okay, I tried a few alternative milks, and I thought I like soy milk, and so I started drinking soy milk. With and I'm a heavy coffee drinker. I'll get by the time before I get to work, I have coffee. I get to work coffee. By afternoon, one stressful meeting, coffee. By the time before the end of the day, trying to do all kind of thing, coffee. So probably I'll have 3-4 cups of coffee in a day with soy milk. So but I didn't know that for someone who's living with fibroids, soy milk is a no-no. You need to be informed and educated about all of this food. Yam is. You have to drastically reduce eating yam, if you have fibroids, and it's good for menopause. But if you're living with fibroids, it's something that you want to really eat minimally. And so I went from 7 days to 14 days. I thought it was a joke, and this thing's not stopping. I went to a whole month. I'm like, why is this thing not stopping? And that's how I started bleeding. And for 2 years, I was bleeding non-stop. I was so anemic. I couldn't even live a good quality life. Every other month, I would have blood transfusion. So honestly, for me, when we say we didn't have good quality life, I absolutely understand. And those are the things those are the reasons why we need to speak about this, so that we don't have to get to that point. And also, I don't know about you ladies, I was trying not to deal with it, even when I was bleeding. That's for that long. I was trying to say, because by then I was offered hysterectomy, and I was like, oh, there must be something else. But at that junction, I was fighting hard. So let's go to the treatments now. How did you decide your own treatments? Because you want to go first, Bookie, about your treatment. How did you decide?
Yeah, I've eventually had a consultant that I used to see, and they said, all right, okay, this fibroid is there. Since it's shrunk one time, let's try to speed up menopause. So they started giving me this injection. I thought I was going to find it, the name before now, but I didn't. Anyway, they give me the injection within on my abdomen, within the skin, into the skin every 3 months. And oh my goodness, oh, what a bad, worst idea. I ballooned so much that my skin was literally tearing apart.
Wow.
My face was, when I travel to see people will be looking at me like this. Well, I love to bone face. I kind of,
But
what? This is what you're seeing. That's not me. I'm just going through something. If you will care to know, ask me. Stop looking at me strangely. It was such, it was, I didn't even know how I went through it, but I just knew God was with me because it was horrible.
Were you breaking out?
So I broke out. I broke out that it was like they gave me little pebbles on my face. So when I went after about 8 months, I went to the guy. In fact, he didn't even say anything. When he saw me, it was like, you know what, we're gonna stop this treatment. So then they said they were going to give me Marina. They started Marina into me. Marina literally came out by itself, and I took it back to the doctor. This is not working for me, and that's what my first intervention kind of. I've never used morning after pill in my life. Neither am I used. So no pregnancy stopped me. Something except for that implants I had for the first time. So when that didn't work, and I was still in this pain, heavy bleeding, anemic, everything. They said they were going to do surgery for me, and I tried to find out the name. I'm so sorry, I didn't find out. So it was not open surgery. They went through my vagina to take this fibroid out, and that was the first in August 2018, and I did that, and they said they left some that couldn't come out, whatever. And I had another one in 2020. So, but between 2018 and 20, there was one that was left at the tip of my womb.
Okay.
That grew, that my womb was literally open, that for 2 years, it's like fluid running out. My period is there, fluid running out of my womb that I had to use pad 24/7. Is it every 2 hours you go to toilet, Sister Toyin? I was always going to toilet every 30 minutes because I was using tampon. I was using always night pad too. Still, every 30 minutes I need to go. It was like an open tap.
Okay. Was it intentional to leave the one that was at the neck of the uterus? Why did that happen?
I think it was small. They didn't see it. They didn't, because I remember after the first operation that the doctor came to me that the amount of fibroid they took out of me, he was surprised that I could even conceive. So it wasn't intentional. I think it was just a small one that grew again. So, but it grew so fast, and why that is, I don't know.
Wow.
So of course, like now when you're talking now, because I was told to change my dairy. I was put off dairy. They said I shouldn't take dairy again because to treat the facial issue. Then I went on to soya. Perhaps that aids in the growth. I don't know. So, but
soy milk, definitely.
So because I'm not putting the dots together now, perhaps that was what because the doctors were surprised that after 2 years you're coming back again. It doesn't make sense. So 2 years I had the same operation, but I was supposed to have a hysterectomy. However, I had a friend, a good friend. She's a reverend reverend now.
Two myectomies now. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but before the second one, they wanted to do hysterectomy for me, and I, thank God, I met this lady at work that we shared the same pain as she was. She too has gone through fibroid, had taken a womb hysterectomy, and she's a surviving cancer patient. So I just felt comfortable with her, and I told her that, this is what the doctor said, I should have hysterectomy. And she said, well, if you're going to have that, that's okay, I've had it. Ask him to save your ovaries. So when I went there and said, well, I don't mind, and as well, I had a pastor friend that did hysterectomy. she wasn't good for 6 months, and I was all contemplating, do I want to do this, do I want to do this? And I was in school then, and I was thinking, do I have that time to 8 months to heal? So I was in a very, very conflicting decision.
Yeah.
But what kind of stamp?
Every woman is different in their healing and how long it will take them, but for me,
Yeah.
of this, what I'm trying to highlight here is that we will all take different routes, but don't let pressure you into taking the option that you don't feel comfortable with. Make sure it's the best option for you, but also don't leave it too late, because it's important.
Yeah.
It is our decision. Don't let anyone throw my myectomy at you if they're still small, and that you can start and eat in a different way that it can shrink. And that's why I'm going to ask Mary to speak about hers before I come to you, Bisoy, because I know that Bisoy, you and I are similar. But I'm going to let Mary share her intervention with us, because you had to myectomy, and that's another thing. Myectomy is not a permanent solution. It's just a temporary fix. After a myectomy, lifestyle change, doing the needful, monitoring it, ensuring that you're living alternative lifestyle that can help fibroids shrink, not grow, is why they stay at bay or take a long time to grow back, or not even grow back. But if you don't do nothing, or if you revert back to your old ways after myectomy, fibroids are definitely gonna come back.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Thank you, Buki, for sharing. I wanted us to hear Mary's intervention after she got diagnosed, and what she did. Share with us what your treatment option was.
Believe me, my first treatment option I had was changing my diet, because the fibroid was just 2.8. It was not really bothering me. It was the polyps that was killing me, that always made me bleed. It was giving me excessive bleed. So I changed my diet. My gynae gave me a new diet and asked me to do away with anything carbonated. I do away with my carbonated soft drinks. I was just using yogurt. I reduced my carbohydrate intake, and they monitored it for 1 year. After 1 year, it was just last month that I went for laparoscopy. I went for surgery that they had to do it through my vagina, and they had the polyps cut. They removed the polyps and the fibroid. But then, even after the surgery, the doctor was telling me, in order for the fibroid not to go out again, that was not the last option. I should still maintain the diet that I have been using. I should still maintain that diet. I should not start eating everything I see in order for it to come back. So it's not easy, but I had no choice. And the diet was, I eat rice, but if I want to take rice, I will make sure I add vegetables.
All right,
I
amazing. So how are you now? How long have you been on a lifestyle change, and how are you now? What do you have any symptoms?
Since I've been after the surgery, I just started diet again. Since then, I have been fine. No more bleeding. Even if I want, because the polyp was always out in my vaginal canal,
Wow.
in my vagina. If I want to wash, I used to see it.
Wow.
Since after the surgery, after the removal, if I go down want to wash my pee area, I don't see it. I've been fine.
All right. Awesome. So
honestly,
with Mary's story, for me is also the emphasis on what we eat. Honestly, but living with fibroids, you want to eat more of the fruit and vegetable, the whole grains, the lean protein, the fish, chicken, omega-3 fatty acids, food that's fiber-rich food, and all of those kind of things, and honestly, lifestyle change does help. I also have a nutritionist, a doctor friend who has a cohort of people that she's taking through alternative lifestyle. But see, is when you learn, when you start to engage these things early enough and make it a lifestyle, is how you can shrink fibroid, and you don't have to have hysterectomy, or you don't have to even have myomectomy the second, third, fourth time, or however
Mm.
how many times, they offer. I think about 3 times said it, what it can offer to people. I'm not sure now anymore. But honestly, there are options that we can explore. And I always say, make sure that you understand all your options. I'm going to ask Bisoe to share her one, and then I'll highlight some things that is important. Once you've been diagnosed with fibroids, some major things that you want to know, because information is key. It is power. That is the that you have, so that someone is not throwing things at you that at early stage they're asking you to have hysterectomy, and you just go and submit yourself, and someone just deprived you of things that's possible, especially if you're in childbearing age and you still wanted more children. So Bishop, you want to share your treatment of?
Yeah, so I think for me, I did an hysterectomy, and um, for me, it was an easy decision for me to make, just solely because I had a very, very um, an incident that I was like, no, that's it, take it out. Because I went to work, and obviously, because of the bleeding, I was always wearing black jeans, or I never wore anything colored. And that day on my way back to work, I was bleeding out.
Wow.
But because I was wearing black jeans, so that was my saving grace, because I couldn't disappear home. I had to walk home, and because of where we were living, I had to walk up the hill. So I could imagine if I was wearing something light, how would I have gotten home that day? Because you can't take a cab, you can't sit down in a cab. I couldn't on the train. I had to keep standing because I knew it was already dripping. So I was just using my jeans to kind of like, rather than it drip out on the floor.
Wow.
So that was it for me, and I was like, okay. My husband had a doctor friend who is a gynae then, and he was like, okay, are you planning on having kids? He had that conversation with me. Maybe if I had people or people around me that would have given me options in terms of eat this, eat that, I don't know if I still would have gone for the hysterectomy. But as at that time, hysterectomy then was okay. Once you do it, this will stop. I was like, okay, do it. I didn't even want to hear anything else. Even my husband tried to, I was like, nope, this I can't. No, that was it for me. So I was like, yeah, go for it. For me,
I
even the
know.
journey with the hysterectomy wasn't as easy as I thought it was, because I
Thank you.
think they had to put me.
Go on.
They had to put me on false menopause. They were giving me injection to put me on false menopause, because that was supposed to stop the bleeding before the operation, and that one was even making matters worse as well. So I was just like, what's going on? Just take this thing out like that now and let me breathe, and and all that. But after after the surgery, I wasn't patient enough to heal. Was my problem. So that was what then triggered all the after effects of the surgery that I had, because I went back to work literally like weeks after the
Really?
surgery.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
I went back, but luckily for me, I was working from home and then going to office like maybe 3 days, and then working from home 2 days. So I still couldn't even walk, because I was just, when I'm on the train, I was always doing. So yeah, it was that bad. So I didn't give myself time to heal,
Still,
which is something I would have said, okay, if I would have done anything differently, is probably take that rest to let my body heal back properly. That's the only thing I can think of right now that I would have said I would have done differently. Obviously, the eating and you have to do this, you have to do that. I had nobody. I didn't even know that was even an option. I didn't know all that. That wasn't even on the table for me at that time. In when everything was happening for me. But yeah, at least now I'm alive. My kids are happy to see
praise
me
God.
around. So
Praise God.
that's all I can say.
Thank you for sharing that. Similar to Bisoe, I had to have hysterectomy. But like Bisoe, my one wasn't easy decision to come to. I didn't get to it easily. Honestly, I was avoiding. I was offered hysterectomy way. So I was funny enough. I was first offered myomectomy many years when I was having the miscarriages, and then I got pregnant, and they said, "Oh, let's watch and see." And I had my daughter. So, and after that, I didn't have problems anymore. We was back to normal 7 days bleeding, and I thought, okay, this is okay. Until I started that lifestyle change, and of course, plus the stress of the work that I was doing then and all of that. But so when I was offered hysterectomy, I was like, who's going to have hysterectomy? It's not me, And I was doing all kind of things and praying to away, and I was not engaging, having conversation, because that was one thing that honestly was one of my drive for having a community. I said no, that there can't be so many of us and we're not talking about this thing, because there was no one to talk about these things with back then when I was going through, honestly. And it was, I needed a place. I'm like, what is this? Is anybody else? Am I the one who's just going to bleed away and die like that? Nobody else understands why because there was no place or community. I found a few online, Googled, they will take 5, 4, 6 days before they respond and all of that. Like, this is not working. I need someone I can speak to. But honestly, even hysterectomy is not easier solution. Like Bisoy has highlighted. Before the hysterectomy, there has its own challenges. And after hysterectomy, I don't know about you, Bisoy, that one comes with its own challenges. Early menopause, all the flushes and all the things that I shouldn't even be experiencing too early starts to come, and all the bone thing and all of that. So that's what's challenge. Don't let anyone throw anything at you and say, oh, hysterectomy or myomectomy, And for me, in retrospect, I wish I knew more about food, and I did something about food, and I didn't delay, because remember that even when I was dragging my feet and all of that, it wasn't that I changed my lifestyle or anything. I was trying to change my lifestyle, but because I wasn't well informed, I was eating the wrong kind of food for my own particular situation. And so everything got worse. So by the time I was understanding, and it was accidental stumble even, that it was my husband who found these American doctors who were talking about fibroids and, the link with soya products and soya milk and all of that. And he said to me, like, oh my God, and first of all, we went to go and discard every soya drink and soya milk in my house and all of that. But by that time, I was already bleeding every other month. I'm in the hospital, blood transfusion, and after a while, I got to a place where they're saying, okay, if you don't stop taking the blood which I need because I'm bleeding too heavily, and by the way, thing that they tried to give me to stop the bleeding didn't work, and when it got to a point, I was having severe migraine that landed me in the hospital, and then it was other things, lumbar puncture and whatnot. This was only fibroid that I had, and everything else came out because of the medication that I was on. So for me, honestly, in retrospect, that's why I wanted Mary to highlight food, the food that we're eating. I'm not saying it's a walk in the park, but we have to be intentional about making it a habit, because the food we eat has a big, impact or on how the outcome can be. Don't let us leave it till it's too late. If anyone's out there and you wanted to ask any of the ladies questions, please feel free to ask us any questions, about our journey or something that will help you. But for me, as soon as you're diagnosed with fibroid, the first 3 questions I say to women is, you want to know the size, you want to know the location, so that you know the fibroids you have, because those are the arsenals that you need to begin to come back to know, okay, what options are the best options? What age am I at? Do I still want children? Miss O didn't want children anymore. She was happy to get rid of the uterus. I honestly didn't want children anymore, but I was just sentimental and hanging on to my uterus. And like, no, I want to keep this thing. Why do you want to take it away from me? It was just, and it was not that I wanted to have children. I just didn't want. And also, if I'll be honest, it's also I had a bit of fear of. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel after the hysterectomy. So again, I started looking for, okay, who has had hysterectomy? How are they feeling? How, what's their mental
Hell.
state, health state? What's their life like after? Those were my concerns, and I was looking for a place to talk or someone to talk about these things with, but there was none. So it's honestly putting it out there, and so that we can help other women on this journey, of wellness, and making sure that we're taking the right options that is for us. So quickly, I know time is fast spent. And Bisi already told us, what she would have done differently. Bukola, what would you have done differently? Knowing what you know now.
Oh, I believe the big part is diet, honestly, and being able to connect with other people that have it, and speak out really. But the thing is, who do you want to speak to? So, but the diet is a big part of it for me. Now with what I'm learning presently, so and I'm taking it on board. So, yeah.
And honestly, community is a big thing. We should not underestimate the power of community. The education. Even I thought I knew of some things, and then by the time that we had the community, the Feminine Health and Fiber Support Network Hub, and some women will put information there or things that they're going through. I'm like, oh, really? And in conversations, we've come and have conversations with healthcare professionals, and they're telling us things, and people are discovering stuff. And this is on this journey that I've discovered about yam, and I'm like, so when I went to Africa, yam every day. I'm like, no wonder everybody in this world have fibroids. I was eating too much yam, And honestly, so it's the food we eat, knowing what food is right for, anyone who's living with fibroid, and ensuring that we're having the right food that will help us with that condition is really key, and also creating awareness, educating ourselves and educating each other. Mary, what last word would you want to leave? It's 8:00. It's been a long conversation. I'm still gonna bring you ladies back, maybe one after the other, so that we can have a whole time to share of the story. But what would you want to say to women, Mary, today? What would you leave with women to, who are living with fibroids, Fibroid Awareness Week? What would you want to say to someone who's got fibroids and is in despair and don't know what to do? Can you hear Mary?
She's muted.
Mary? Okay.
You're on mute. Looks like she's on mute.
Yeah. You're muted, Mary. We can't hear you. Sorry, we can't hear you, Mary. Okay, Ibrahim, do you want to go quickly? Oh, she's gone. Maybe she has the network issues. Did you want to go quickly? What do you want to say to women?
Just speak out and understand that it's not a thing of shame, because that's another thing. I think we African women are like, oh, you don't want to say this out. Don't be ashamed of this. This is your life. Your life is dependent on this. Speak out. And I'm glad for Sister Tony that is raising this. And we have this community to speak about things to go through. We're not ashamed of it. We're a warrior, indeed, warriors. So speak out. There is victory out there. Problems shared is problem half solved, they say. So speak out.
Thank you. Thank you. Amazing. Thank you so much. So, what do you want to say to women who are living with fibroids? And,
I think I'll just echo what Bukola said. It's not a stigma. It's not a stigma. You have fibroids, you have endometriosis, you're going on, you're having issues. It's not a stigma. Don't keep it to yourself. Reach out, talk to people. If you can't talk to the whole community, at least you can talk to one person in the community. So reach out to wherever you feel comfortable talking with, and then just talk. We're all women. There's nothing you're going through that someone else doesn't have a similar, might not be exactly the same,
Absolutely.
but would definitely have, even if it's just to have someone hold your hand. I might not have gone through what you've gone through, but you just need someone to hold your hand. I certainly needed someone to hold my hand, but I couldn't get anyone around me. So, having that person hold your hand, praying with you, going to the hospital, encouraging you, don't worry, to get better. It goes a long
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, that emotional support is key. Honestly, it's key, and sometimes it can make a lot of difference, even in your healing journey. I remember, after I had my hysterectomy, because for me it was a shock to my system, like, because I just thought, oh, I've had what's it called? What's the one that you have child, not natural childbirth? Oh God.
CS.
Yeah, cesarean section. Thank you. So I've had two cesarean sections. Both of my children were cesarean sections. So I thought, oh, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be the same thing. But it was a shock to my system when I had hysterectomy, and I found like, oh my god, and even
Different.
yeah, absolutely different kettle of fish.
The big
It's
thing.
not the same thing. And almost 3 weeks later on, I was back in the hospital. They were going to cut me up open again because I was bleeding from somewhere they didn't even know, and all kind of things went wrong. So I understood after I came out of it. I understood firsthand what it means to have a support when you're healing, because it was critical. I couldn't do anything. I needed literally people to do things for me, my husband, my children. And so that support. So when I found women who didn't have the support, my heart was, I will go and shop for them. I will make sure they have the right things, and and all of those things. And it's why we need each other. That emotional support is key. If you find another woman, please help. Please give your guidance, give your advice if you've gone through it. If you haven't gone through it, call out to someone who might know someone who. Let's help each other. Let's not our own story or our own experience be wasted. Someone else can leverage from that, and they don't have to have a difficult life or have to go through the things that you've had to go through. Absolutely. And lifestyle, I cannot overemphasize lifestyle change. I'm on the journey. I'm not there yet, but we gotta give you what it's going to take until honestly, because if even though I've had a hysterectomy, I still want to have a good lifestyle. I still want to make sure that. And for me also, it's about the younger generation. I have a daughter who I don't want her to have to go through what I've had to go through. So making sure I'm living by example. I'm saying this kind of food, those are the ones that you want to eat and you want to stay with, and all of that. I'm not saying you have fibroid, but please let's, So absolutely, and we should not let people throw things at us. If your option that you're not comfortable with is not myomectomy, don't let anyone say go and have myomectomy. Explore other options. Mary explored having change, lifestyle change, and that's helped. And I know a doctor who also swears by it because she has women who she's helping through all of that. So definitely food helps. So thank you, ladies, for sharing your story with us today and with the community. And thank you. I hope everyone who's come today has learned one or two things and is useful. And we've been able to help and make another woman's life better and easier, honestly. And this is what this is all about. We are letting our light shine so that we can be a light for other women as well, and light someone so that they can go and light someone else. And there we go on like that. Thank you, ladies. I really appreciate the time. It's 7 minutes past. We've gone past time. But thank you. I'm grateful that you came. Thank you for your courage. Always grateful. Have a lovely evening, and thank you. See you
Thank
again.
you.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Everyone
Thank
who's
you.
joined us today, I hope you've learned something and this has been helpful to you. God bless everyone. Have a good evening.
And
Thank
you
you.
too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Zoe. Thank you, Bukola.
Thank you.